Hello and welcome back to the Villa Phil podcast. It is I, Dan Wiseman, coming to you solo in the aftermath of Aston Villa 1, Arsenal nil. Aston Villa's 15th home Premier League win in a row. And not only is that a club record, but it's another 3 points, which solidifies Villa's grip on the top three for yet another week. Unai Emery's side are on an absolute tear. And whilst Champions League qualification looks more and more likely by the week, conversations are now starting to circle about whether Villa are really in the title race. It feels absolutely crazy to say. Hope you're staying safe, staying well wherever you are listening. Thank you for tuning in. Um, let's get straight into it. So it was an unchanged lineup. I think that's the most important thing to say from Wednesday night. And it is absolutely remarkable given the intensity of that game, that 1-0 win against Manchester City on Wednesday night, that we were able to come into this game just a few days later and execute a game plan as well as we did. And whilst Arsenal, it should be said, also had a very testing game midweek, they had an extra day's rest from their game against Luton on the Tuesday. It's pretty incredible what the Villa boys were able to go out there and do, but it was a very different game plan, and I think that's a good place to start. Despite the goal coming so early on, and we'll have some conversations about that, but it wasn't as gung-ho, it wasn't as full throttle, it wasn't as 110%, it wasn't that rock and roll football which we've become so accustomed to seeing from Villa, particularly in the first half of home matches. It was a little bit more measured. Arsenal, to their credit, did really well to get back into the game after the goal, but the whole first half never really felt like it was Villa at their full throttle, where we've come out and blown teams away right from the get-go. But what we did do 7 minutes in is put an absolutely fantastic combination together, which freed Leon Bailey down the right to pull back across to John McGinn, who turns on a sixpence in the just outside the 6 yard box and finishes past David Raya. It was a goal made by Leon Bailey. What a week he's had. One of the best weeks, well, the best week he's ever had in a Villa shirt. I dare say one of the best weeks in his career. He gets the winner on Wednesday night and he provides this massive assist for John McGinn just 7 minutes into the game. He starts the move around the halfway line, links up really nicely with Kamara and Tielemans, manages the kind of passage of play, drags Zinchenko out of position, which frees up that ball into the middle, and then the skipper does the rest. It's a fantastic Villa goal, and I think it just goes to show just how accustomed we've become to good football under Unai Emery, that I didn't really realise just how good a goal it was until I watched it 2 or 3 times back. It's an absolutely glorious passage of play. And whilst the first half wasn't as all action as it perhaps has been at Villa Park throughout those 15 home league wins in a row, what it was very measured. I made a note here and it just says everything looks constructed and rehearsed. Every single situation, it looks like Villa have been there before. We know how to deal with it. We know the passing triangles. We know where players are going to be making runs to, where to play the balls to, when to dribble, when to release, when the overlap's going to come. Everything looks like it's premeditated, and it's almost like Villa are playing games now, having seen the footage 2 days earlier. And that goes right from the back line through to Ollie up front. The movement is almost mechanical at points. And I think you see that with the first goal. It's almost like instinctive is not even really the word. I think it's almost the opposite of that, in that it's so drilled into these players at points that it's almost, as I said, rehearsed. It's the only word I can really use to describe it. It's absolutely remarkable, the level of coaching and the attention to detail that Unai is clearly putting into the training pitch is paying dividends week in, week out, because the way that we opened up Arsenal for that first goal was absolutely incredible. And then from there, it wasn't necessarily as comfortable, and the stats will show that. The first half, we only had the one shot on target, and it was very good value for it. Arsenal throughout the game had 12 shots to our 10. A lot more of ours came in the second half. We had 3 shots on target to their 5. Possession was equally as weighted in Arsenal's favour, 61% to 39 from Villa. But it's really interesting given the kind of midweek that we had, that we allowed Arsenal to have so much of the ball and we looked so comfortable with it. This is such a dangerous side. We've handed Arsenal only their second league defeat of the season. They've got a very good attack and a pretty mean defence. They've conceded the joint fewest goals in the league up until this point. We never looked fearful of them. And look, whilst they did have their chances, again, we've had to rely on Emi Martinez in places, and he made some fantastic saves yet again, particularly towards the back end of the second half. He was so brave. Coming for crosses is just something that I think we've really seen change in Emi, maybe even after the World Cup wins, because that part of goalkeeping is all about confidence. And we've seen in the other goal, David Raya struggled with that, particularly over recent weeks. And you look at someone like Andre Onana at Manchester United as well. When your confidence is shot, your ability to dart 12, 15 yards off your goal line, to challenge an oncoming striker for a ball or to come and claim a cross is so dependent on confidence, because every goalkeeper in the Premier League obviously has the ability to do it. But you don't see Mamie doing it like Emmy, and I've got full faith in him now whenever he leaves his goal line, that we are able to, he's going to be able to come and claim the ball. I thought he was fantastic. Man of the match goes to Diego Carlos, and we've got to again shout out that amazing defensive unit from Aston Villa. What a performance Diego has put in there today. He deserves so much credit for how he's rebounded and come back to full strength after what was a pretty terrible Achilles injury at the very start of last season. He's signed for a completely different club under Gerrard, when, what he's seen from the treatment table, really, of the sacking of Gerrard to Unai coming in, to the results at the end of last season, has been pretty incredible. It must have been amazing to watch whilst going through rehab with that injury. He's come back into the side and he looks absolutely phenomenal. Him and Pau Torres are almost the perfect defensive partnership. You have everything that you could want in two centre halves. You have the bruiser, the brute that is Diego Carlos, and the really elegant, fantastic ball carrier that is Pau Torres to his left-hand side. And that partnership, the way they marshaled that high line, again, it's another horde of offsides today for Villa. The stats they had 4 offsides against Arsenal. We caught them offside 4 times, I should say. They only caught us offside the once. And so again, far ahead in that metric. We lead the league by a country mile in that particular statistic. And even when we were holding on to the result at the very end of the game, the way that we marshaled that high line, you see so many teams when they're just being hit by wave after wave of attack between the 80th and the 90th minute, slowly sink deeper and deeper towards their own goal. But Villa maintained that high line. In the 90th minute, it's incredible. Arsenal are playing long balls over the top, and we are still 30, 35 yards away from our own goal. The confidence that this side has, I think that's the key word at this point, to trust Unai's principles, to believe in what they're doing at Bodymore, and to then execute it, not just against any teams, but against 2 of the best teams in the country, have been absolutely incredible to see. And there aren't really many teams that kind of stick to their principles like that, like Villa do. It wasn't easy. Obviously, Kai Havertz has the ball in the net at one point. It's ruled out for an offside. Amy picked up a pretty hearty injury, a blow to the face in that one, but he stayed strong. They did have the ball in the net. They had their fair share of chances right from, straight after McGinn scored. There's that chance for Saka when Martinelli plays the ball across from the right-hand side. There's that chance very late on for Eddie Nketiah, though I believe he was offside for that one anyway. This wasn't a comfortable win. And again, it's all about coming out on the right side of the margins. But Aston Villa have done that superbly. Unai Emery is one of, if not the best manager this club has had, certainly in recent years. We've now had our best league start to a season since we won the title in 1981, 1982. And we all know what went on to happen after that. There are some, I don't want to say downsides to this result, but a fair share of suspensions. Will be without Luca Dean and Douglas Luiz for the trip to Brentford next week, which won't be easy. So looks like Alex Moreno is going to get his first Premier League start of the season in that game. Be interesting to see what we do with the Luiz situation, because Leandro Dendoncker probably got the most minutes he's had, certainly in the league for Villa, in a long time. He came on around the 65-minute mark and played really, really well. I think, he deserves huge credit for the way that he came in and played such an extended role, given that he's not had a lot of minutes really over the past 12, 18 months. And again, much like Luca Dean, someone that's been so important to this season, someone whose future looks really uncertain in the summer, and the way that they've dialed in for this season and given it their all is amazing. And you're kind of seeing the lads that came off the bench today really reinforce just what options that we have going forward. Cash, Moreno, Diaby, Dendoncker, and Ramsey all came off the bench. And then even still in reserve, we've got the likes of Longley and Zaniolo, John Duran. And then, you look at the lads that are injured at the moment, Mings, Buendia. There is a real depth of quality at this club, and it confirms something that we've known for a while, that there is most definitely quality in this Aston Villa side. It's just the managers prior to Unai just haven't been able to unlock it quite here, like what he has. And I dare say even they didn't know the heights that they could go on and achieve in a Villa shirt. It has been absolutely incredible. And we've got, we need a bit of time now to go away and assess. But the lads desperately need a rest. But we're only the fourth side to play the previous season's champions and the top two in the Premier League in consecutive matches and win them both, after Liverpool in December 2000, Southampton in May 2001, and Manchester United in December 2002. It's been 20 years since someone has played the previous season's first and second place sides in the same week and won them both. That is Unai Emery, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's the perfect note to end on. It's going to be another busy week for Villa. We've obviously got Zrinski in the Conference League. A flight to Bosnia awaits these lads, I imagine, in just a couple of days' time before the game against Brentford at 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. So as always, I'll be around to preview those games with you guys. I'll be here for the post-match debrief as well, and we'll be back at full complement, Dan and I, back together before you know it. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit subscribe. We've recently ticked over 15k subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. I just wanted to thank you so much, because it's for you that we make this content, really, and it means the world to us. I love the relationship that we have with you guys. Not been as active in the comments and stuff as I'd like to like to have been recently, really, but I'll make the extra effort to make sure I come to you guys with your thoughts and everything like that. Let me know. I'll make sure I get back to you guys this week. It'd be great to have a chat with some of you. There's a link tree in the description as well. There you can find links to our FPL league, which is really hotting up, and our Instagram and our TikTok, where you can find exclusive Villa filler content should you want it straight to your mobile. Leave a like, comment. Guys, what a time to be a Villa fan. I'll see you later this week, twice this week, because boy, the festive period does not stop. The January transfer window is also just around the corner, so you're not going to want to miss an upload, because once transfer rumor season kicks in, this is the best podcast on the Villa sphere. So guys, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy the working week, whenever you are listening to this, and I'll see you soon. Up the Villa.